Hey crypto scrappers, Josh here with the Crypto Scrapyard, and today I'll be showing you how I built my portable DPR cryptocurrency miners. And as a fun little game, for every like this video gets in the span of 7 days from the day this is uploaded, I'll be giving away the total amount of DPR equal to the amount of likes the video has to one random person who comments their Deeper wallet address in the description below. So go ahead and hit that like button, comment your Deeper wallet address, and share this video around because it'll really help me out. I'm going to go over how much I paid for each item and why I bought the things that I did. Once assembled, this whole setup simply requires plugging into one power outlet, and then you'll be online mining DPR from anywhere that you have cell service. Some things to quickly note: I personally paid a little bit extra for certain hardware, but this will also work with a few cheaper parts that I'll talk about. When choosing a mobile hotspot, you'll want to make sure that it is able to have a bridge mode and that it is turned on. You'll want to talk with your mobile hotspot carrier and make sure your SIM card can be assigned a static IP address. Some carriers require you to meet specific requirements to get a static IP address, but that varies between carriers. To start this off, you're going to need a deeper device. I'm going to use this gold Genesis right here as an example for this video, but you will most likely not have this one, and you're probably going to be using a Mini, a Nano, or a Pico. Currently, Deeper has restocked their minis on their website and are offering them for $349. And that's how much I bought my minis for, so we're going to use that as a base price for this total. I'll have an affiliate link to their store in the description below. Now, the cost for staking is dynamic and is always changing because of the value of DPR. Like all crypto, the price of DPR fluctuates in value every single day, so I'm not going to be including the price of DPR and the price of staking in this total cost. But keep in mind, there are two ways to stake, either on the Ethereum chain or the Binance chain. The Ethereum chain will be using Ethereum as its gas, and it's extremely expensive, so I personally recommend using the Binance chain to stake because the gas fees are paid in BNB, and they are very, very small, negligibly small. It's crazy how cheap it is compared to Ethereum. So after getting a deeper device, the next thing you'll want is a mobile hotspot router. There are a lot to choose from on the internet, but I chose this one specifically. It's a Netgear LM1200. It cost about $110 at the moment of making this video, bringing our total spent to about $459. I'll have an affiliate link for this Netgear mobile hotspot in the description below. I specifically chose this modem because it costs less than other modems, and it has an Ethernet port in the back so I can hardwire things to it. Also, by default, these devices are in bridge mode, so you don't have to configure anything. Just simply put a working SIM card in it, power it on, and you'll have internet as long as you have cell service. Now, the default IP address that will be assigned to a mobile hotspot is usually going to be dynamic and private. This may cause you to not share enough data, so you'll want to look into getting a public IP address for your mobile hotspot. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Next, we'll need a computer to connect to your Mini, since the Mini needs to be on 24/7, and the things that are connecting to it also need to be on 24/7. If you have something not connected on either side of your Mini, it's not going to be performing, sharing, or doing any kind of reward earning. I chose a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus kit for my first 3 mobile rigs, and then a Raspberry Pi 4 for this video. But you don't have to use either of those, and you can actually use older, cheaper Raspberry Pi 2s if you wanted. The Raspberry Pi 3s cost me about $100 each, and you can purchase them using the affiliate link I put in the description below. This brings my total spent to about $559. Now, when it comes to the Pi, you'll need to install an operating system on it, and the simplest one is Raspberry Pi OS. They make it very easy to install this on your Raspberry Pi, as they have software that pretty much does it all for you. You just plug an SD card into your computer, follow their very simple instructions on their website, download their image creator, and put the image on your SD card. Once you plug that into your Pi, it'll load up and do its configuration for the first time. It's all simple step-by-step instructions, and once you get to the desktop, you're good to go. Now, for a very important part, if you go into the settings, you can enable VNC, which is a free remote desktop software that's built into Raspberry Pi's image, which allows you to remote in with a PC or a smartphone into that Pi, so you can easily check the status of your device, log into your device, and check your rewards. If you want to secure your Pi even further, you can check out this really good video explaining how to lock down your Pi and protect it from hackers from Scythian. I'll have a link to that video in the description as well. Now for some optional accessories. Because I wanted to consolidate all my plugs, I bought this little power strip for $10, bringing my total to $569. You also need some Ethernet cords, and I went with something similar to these. I'll have a link to the power strip and the Ethernet cords in the description below. So now our total is about $579. Now let's talk about the mobile hotspot plan. For this last part, this price will vary depending on where you live and what plans are available. I live in the United States, and with this plan through T-Mobile, it costs me $10 a month and doesn't have a contract. But here's where I ran into the problem once I got it all set up for the first time. I realized that the IP address that was given to me by T-Mobile was not a static IP address, but instead it was a dynamic IP address, which means it can easily change, and it was also a private IP address, which means that it's harder for people to find my node on my network. So in order to change my private IP address to a public IP address, I needed to get a static IP address from my mobile carrier. So after a really annoying process, it turns out that T-Mobile, here in the US at least, offers businesses a static IP address for an extra $5 a month per line. Luckily, I do own my own business, Scrapyard Films, and I was able to get a static IP address for all of my mobile hotspot lines. So for one device, that brings my total cost to about $594. Now for the return of income. For a complete ROI, that really depends on how much you stake and the value of the DPR coin. It could take less than a year if you staked really high tiers, or it could take over a couple years if you staked in the lower tiers. If DPR suddenly blew up to $1 a coin, I'd probably make my ROI within a couple weeks. But one thing is for sure is the quickest method to get your ROI is to compound your mined DPR and stake higher tiers with it. When you up the tiers, you mine more DPR and then you can sell those rewards to help recoup the initial DPR cost as well as the hardware cost after your staking contract expires. Now for slapping it all together. Hooking up these devices was extremely simple. All you need is an Ethernet cord from your mobile hotspot router that goes into your deeper device, and then another Ethernet cord from your deeper device that goes into your Pi. And that's it. You just plug the power into each one of these devices and you're done. You can mount these pieces any way you want or just have them sitting on window ledges if you wanted, but here's a simple version of what I did with my miners. I simply zip tied them all to this small wire basket we got at the Dollar Tree for $1, and it separates them all out nicely and allows for decent wire management. I did this for 3 of my miners so far, and I put them all in my closet near a window, but because they're in a stagnant closet, it ended up getting a little bit hotter than I wanted, so I purchased these little fans and attached them to the wire baskets to blow all the hot air away from the devices. It's totally optional because your situation may be different where you mount these, but I'll go ahead and link the ones I got in the description. So now I got all my devices on this wire basket and I want to plug them in, all their power ports, into that power strip I bought. That reduces the number of outlets I need from 3 to 1. So I did that with 3 of my rigs so far and plugged them into their own power strip into the wall. And because these are such low voltage and low wattage devices, I have no fear at all about overloading any outlets with these devices. But I'm not an electrician, so don't take that as advice. Once the rig is powered on, the hotspot goes live. Once it has cell service, it passes internet to the deeper device. And once the deeper device has internet, it passes through to the Raspberry Pi. And once the Raspberry Pi has internet, you can remote onto it using VNC from anywhere, a desktop PC, your phone, or anything. And there you have it. That's how I created my own portable DPR cryptocurrency mining rigs. I currently have 4 mining rigs so far and they're doing awesome. They're sharing plenty of bandwidth, so I'm earning credit score on all of my devices. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them below. And if this video helped you out, be sure to shoot a like and subscribe down there to the bottom right because that'll really help me out. And I'll see you guys in the next video.